Hello, Maiden Warriors. It's Brittany, and I am here today to discuss six-figure closing questions, 5 and 6 figure closing questions that are really just awesome to have and know about in order to really close your leads. And I really don't even like using the word closing because I think it has a negative connotation when it comes to salespeople and what we do and how we truly help people. At least it does for the Maiden Warriors approach, because we are such a service-based community and help-based community, which is why we provide all of this training at such a low cost and pay people to help other people to receive it. So I don't really like the word closing, but for training purposes and because that's what everyone else calls it, we're just going to use that for today. But the word that we prefer is six-figure helping to find a solution questions or solution ending questions. And I'm just going to go right in, and you ladies will have access to this document. If you need it, we can send it to you or add it to the community. But I want to first start by saying that when you're doing a six-figure or five-figure or any type of goal that you've set for yourself to be, when it pertains to your sales goals, it should be taken very seriously. You are, dealing with someone's life and how their life can change for them. So you should be very serious when it comes to that. But at the same time, when you're talking to someone, you should be using a more comfortable and relaxed and neutral tone so that you make your prospect feel like you're a trusted authority and that you're really focused on them and what they need and how you can best serve them. That really should be your focus. Your focus should be to not come across as a pushy salesperson, but to come across as someone who cares about the best interest of the individual who's in front of them or on the phone with them. You need to focus 100% on what's best for your prospect and let go of the attachment with the outcome. And, if you really come from a place of service and a place of what is going to be best for this person, you're going to be more comfortable yourself. You're going to be treated with much more respect and as an advisor or a friend instead of someone who's just trying to push someone into something, another product or service that they don't necessarily need. You'll also be able to convey your message much better. Well, like we always say, like the great Stephen Covey says, and highly effective individuals book, you should be focused on understanding. First focus on understanding and then being understood. So here's just a few examples for questions that I like to use and that a lot of our consultants who've been trained like to use that we see the most results with. And, it's always putting your prospect first, putting their needs and what they want first. So first, we'll go into, let's say someone is interested in signing up for what you have. A lot of times we feel uncomfortable as women and as salespeople asking for money, asking for a payment. So to go ahead and get that out of your system, you know what? If what you're doing is great and what your product has is awesome, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable asking for the sell. I know you hear that all the time, but that is true. So let's just say someone's like, yeah, this is really great. And I'm ready to start. I'm ready to get started. Or you're done with your presentation and they're like, wow, this sounds great. Your next response can be one of these 5. Okay, great. With your permission, we can set up another appointment to see if we can help you with your situation. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. That question is really if someone needs a little bit more information that you may not have been able to answer in that first meeting. Or let's say you did an on-the-spot conversation with someone at an event or someone that you just met. and you want to set up an appointment with them to further discuss your plans, you could say, well, with your permission, we can set up an appointment to see if we can help you with your situation. Or number two, this is if, someone you already had a presentation with them or a meeting or an appointment with them, and they think that what you have to say is just all sunshine and roses. And they're just like, wow, this is great. I feel that this would really help me. After you ask them a little bit more questions, because we know from the training that if someone says, this is really great, I think this would really help you, you don't immediately go into this closing question. You ask them, awesome. You say this, awesome. That's great. What do you feel would most help you by using this product? Or how do you feel this product would most help you? And the reason why you ask that is because you want to convince them. You want them to convince themselves and persuade themselves. And just by asking them simple questions like that, you're getting them to remind themselves of why they need your services or your product or whatever you're offering. So if someone's like, wow, this is great, I really like what you're saying, ask them, well, what do you like most about it? What attracts you the most about this opportunity or about this product or about receiving these services? Listen to them. Be curious. Like I tell you, ask questions. It's totally fine. It makes you come across as trusted. I mean, you should be trusted. You should be very knowledgeable about what you have, believe in what you have. And if you've talked to them and asked them a lot of questions, then you should know if your solution can help them anyway. And number three, you can ask them if they say, wow, this is great. I think this is an amazing opportunity. You then ask them, well, that's awesome. What do you see as the next step, Mary, or whatever their name is? Or you could say, Mary, where do you want to go from here? Or you could say, okay, Mary, well, with your permission, I'd like to get you set up so you can get started on the training for growing your sales and really starting this business. Would that be the next best step for you? Ask them questions. Get their permission, because that is what's going to close the sales for you. Not assuming the sell, but asking them, where do they want to go next? So capturing your potential client, I want to talk about some things to avoid and some things to do. 6 steps that we came up with and I came up with together with our team. And the first one is to stop thinking that you should assume the sell. I know you ladies have heard me say it probably a million times now, but it's just too much pressure. It's too much pressure on yourself. Why assume something when you have no clue how it's going to turn out? It's also too much pressure on your prospect, and it immediately triggers them to see you as a pushy salesperson, and it causes them to throw out objections, which causes you to go into objection closing mode, and you're having to convince them, and then you're chasing them, and then you got to follow up with them, and then they're gone, because we all know what a follow-up is. It's typically, I'm not interested. You can keep calling me. I'm not going to respond. You get ignored. And it's because of how you've been taught. I say it all the time. It's not your fault. We've all been taught wrong. But now that you have this training, you don't have to be taught that way anymore. So don't assume the sell. It's a huge, huge trigger for objection. Number 2, always be closing. No. Lose it. It's wrong. It's literally the same as assuming. Always be closing is, let's just think about it. It's kind of negative. Always be closing who? Always be closing what? Always be closing when? Where? Where are you getting these people to always be closing? Are you always closing quality people, or are you just looking for the next person that you can convince that they need your product? I say it all the time. Focus on quality, not quantity. Because your quality prospects are the ones that are actually in the long run probably going to earn you more of an income, especially if you're in direct sales. Because if they truly believe that what you're doing is going to help them, they're going to spread the word organically. You don't even have to tell them to share the word, okay? Because they believe that what you're talking about is going to help them. Number 3, I said this in the beginning of the video, using the term closing, just don't like it. It's just kind of negative because it's another sales word that's out there. We help prospects to commit to a solution, okay? commit to a solution, not close them on the sell. And instead of saying contract, say agreement, authorization agreement. Instead of saying, I want you to join the membership, we'd love to have you in the community, or I feel this community would be a good fit for you. What do you think about it? What do you feel? Do you feel this community would be a good start in the right direction for your business and your potential? You see how much better that sounds? Membership? Yes, it is a membership community. It is. However, when people hear membership, they think of contract and can't get out, and that's not how this community works. So, and instead of saying sign you up, let's go ahead and get you signed up. You can use, well, I would love to go ahead and help you join, or let's go ahead and help you receive the training or the products that you need to get started on your journey or on your path. And always ask for the commitment to purchase from you. Ask them for a date, a time, or make another step for them to have further discovery on making a decision. That may require setting up another appointment or another phone call through Skype. Focus on trust and helping them. If they need time, let them know, this is a big step for you. And I think that taking a little bit of time to analyze it and figure out if this is going to be the best choice for you is great. I believe talking to the people you care most about this decision would be beneficial as well. Would that make you feel more comfortable? You see how nice and relaxed that sounded? I just came up with that just now. But anyway, I think I messed something up here. That is just a really great way to, like I said, get started on that. Let me get this page back working. Sorry, ladies. Here we are. All right. All right. So, I don't think that worked. All right. So, some other steps would be to make the statement, with your permission, I'd like to suggest as the next step, suggest what the next step is. That's a really great one because you're putting the control in their hands and allowing them to really have ownership, and you're including them on the decision. So you could say something like, well, with your permission, I'd like to suggest as the next step is that we look more closely at the problems you've discussed to determine if this truly is a good solution for you. Or with your permission, I'd like to suggest you meet some other members of the community. Would you feel that to be a comfortable choice? Or with your permission, I'd like to suggest we review more about your business plan and, see what other resources and tools that I can come up with that I think would best serve you. Or with your permission, I'd like to suggest as the next step, as I provide you with our community information so you can review it and have a visual of all you will receive. These are really great closing questions if someone was not interested at that time, or they had some questions or weren't ready just yet. So you could ask with their permission what you'd like to suggest is the next step. That way you're not totally losing them and you're not suffering from rejection, but you're asking them, what next steps would they like to know about in order to see if this is the good solution for them. And be sure to ask them, would that be appropriate? Like, for example, with your permission, I'd like to suggest as the next step that we provide you with our community information so you can review it and, have a visual of all you'll receive. Would you be open to that? Would you feel comfortable with that? Would that work for you? Would that be appropriate? You see how that just sounds amazing. It's not pressure. You're a consultant. This is your profession. You're an authority expert. So if this person does decide that it's not best for them, you've helped them to weed out something that they don't necessarily need. And if it is something, you're helping them not feel the pressure of doing it right then and right there. You really care, and they can tell that. And even if they don't choose you, a lot of times people may not they may not need your services, but they know a lot of people who do. And when you come off as trusted, it helps them to refer you to all the people that they know that they feel you would help. So bottom line, like I say all the time, prospects want to be asked, heard, and understood by you. And it's very important to understand that in any sales related job. They want to be asked. They want questions. They want you to ask them questions. They feel comfortable with you when they're asking questions, answering questions, and like you're really trying to dig deep. And just think about it this way. What other salespeople are doing this? Not that many. There's a reason. So here's some other amazing questions that you can ask to kind of dig a little deeper into what your prospects need. For example, you could say, if there was a solution that could get you this is, for example, if you're in coaching or a weight loss industry or beauty or recruiting individuals even into this training, because you get paid for helping people to join this community. The community pays you just for helping other women receive this. So let's say you're talking to someone in direct sales and they're like, I'm just really wanting to increase my goals and I'm just really struggling and wanting to give up. You could say this: well, if there was a solution that could maybe get you this type of results, would that be of any interest to you? Okay. Or what specific goals would you like to see? Another question that you can ask, and when you're engaging with people, is what would you like to see next? If they have already agreed to wanting your services, you can say, well, what would you like to see next? And a lot of times I've heard them say, well, I want to go ahead and get started. Okay, well, we can go ahead and get that set up for you. You go into that, go into getting the payment. Another question that you can ask, closing questions that are really, really great for asking is, well, Mary, do you feel this would help you? Or, Mary, what do you see as the benefits of all this for you? Or, Mary, does that make sense, or would you like me to cover it with you again? Or, Mary, do you feel comfortable with all we've covered so far? Say these casually, neutrally, and with a casual, comfortable tone. And number 2 is a very powerful question. This one, Mary, what do you see as the benefits of all this for you? The reason that's powerful is because, it's huge. I suggest asking that question for every prospect that seems interested after your presentation, because it really will allow them to convince and tell themselves what benefits they can receive. And you're not even having to persuade them. They're kind of persuading themselves. And then you can go into asking, well, Mary, how does this look to you? Or, Mary, is there anything more that you'd like me to address at this point? Or, Mary, would you be comfortable with this? Mary, how does this feel so far? These are emotional questions. They get them thinking and engaged, and it's just amazing. And if you feel they're ready, here are the most important committing questions for getting the sale. All right. So if you've done your job the right way, leading up to this question that I'm going to talk about, 95% of your prospects will say yes. Okay. So once you've spoken with them, and once you've seen kind of where their head is and answered their questions and spent 85% of your time figuring out what they need, your next question should be, well, Mary, do you feel like this could be what you're looking for? Next, you must ask this question. Okay, well, if you don't mind me asking, why do you feel like that is, though? Why do you feel like this is what you're looking for? And they will convince themselves, like I said, why your solution is best for them. And this is the most persuasive tool ever in sales. When your prospect convinces themselves of why they need your solution, gold, just done. Another question you can ask is, now, Mary, do you feel like this is something that you'll get where you're wanting to go by using? Now, Mary, do you feel like this is something that will get you where you're wanting to go? Oh, that is so powerful, because they are thinking long term for their success, and they know that you're thinking long term for their success and where they want to go. And next, you can ask, well, why do you feel that is? And, well, I don't really have any. This is it. This is it, ladies. This is the commitment question of all commitment questions. To close, seal the deal, end it, wrap it up, done. After they tell you why they feel that way, why they feel that it would be where they were wanting to go, you should say this. Well, Mary, I don't really have anything to go over with you. It looks like we possibly cover what you're looking for. Really, the next step is we make some type of arrangement for you to join the community or receive the products or get started on the services. We can get you set up now with your card, and you can get started with the next steps for your success. Would that be appropriate, or how would you like to proceed from here? Or, Mary, where should we go from here? Very powerful. Very. When I preferably use it, I prefer, Mary, where should we go from here? They've already convinced themselves. They've already said how it would benefit them. The next step is, where should we go from here? Where would you like to go from here? So, like I said, I'm going to say this phrase over. Well, I don't really have anything to go over with you. It looks like we possibly covered what you're looking for. Really, the next step is we make some type of arrangement for you to XYZ, whatever your product or service or pitch is. And we can get you set up now with your card and get you started on the next steps. Would that be appropriate, or how would you like to proceed from here? Mary, where should we go from here? This statement is just powerful, because you're going to be reviewed by their peers, by them, and by people that they refer you to as an advisor or as a friend, instead of someone that has pushed them into yet another product or service that they're not sure about, and who's trying to sell them something that they don't need, don't want, can't afford, had no interest in. Okay? Now, this is just a question for review. I'd really love for you ladies to give us some feedback on how this training is going for you, what more information you would really like to learn about. And if you feel like the Maiden Warriors community and this sales training is something that you are going to hugely benefit from, and if it's something that you feel other people would benefit from, and why is that? And if you don't mind sending an email to me and letting me know, also letting me know what other types of workshops and videos you would like to know about and see, and for us to go over and focus on. Okay? So if you can do that, you can send me a message on Facebook. You can email me at Brittany, BRITTANY, at maidenwarriors.com, because I want to know. And our job and our passion is to serve you and help you become the best salesperson that you can be. So shoot me an email, Facebook, email, and let me know what we're doing to help you and what we can better do in the future to serve you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next training videos. Bye.